Hello everyone, and welcome back to Warships Blitz with Terry. I am kind of waiting for the Pan-Asian destroyer line to come online, which is supposed to happen today, but given that I'm in Australia, I'm a little bit ahead of times. So while I'm waiting, I was just picking something from the backlog, and there's a ship that some of you have requested quite a bit in the past, and since we've just done a German ship, why not do another one? This is the Bayern. Bayern being German for Bavaria, state of Bavaria, in the south, like where the mountains are. This is the tier 6 battleship from the German tech tree, and she's kind of the last ship before it gets a bit different with the Gneisenau at tier 7, and she is the last ship that is from the First World War. She was built actually during the First World War, and she came, I would have almost said online, but she was ready, not quite in time to duke it out with the British Grand Fleet, but she went over to the Soviet Union instead. Well, Russia at the time, really. It wasn't Soviet Union yet, but she went over to Russia at the time and to do some shore bombardment, and promptly run into a mine. So that career a little bit short, which meant a little bit of flooding didn't cause that much trouble. She was still bombarding some stuff, but then eventually she had to return to Germany for some repairs. And, that was more or less the end of her career, because by then the war was about over. She has an interesting setup, because if we look at the ship, let's start a little bit unconventionally with the guns. She has 380mm main guns, which for a ship of that vintage is rather unusual. The reason being that at the time when she was designed, the Germans looked around and saw that everybody else was going with 320, 340, 356mm guns. So they went, we're going to need bigger guns. They considered 400s or 380s. The 400s were just too expensive to manufacture at the time, so they went with the 380s. So she gets, I'm not going to say the same guns as, for example, the Bismarck, because they're very certainly not the same guns, but she gets a very similar layout. So you've got the 4 twin turrets, 2 fore, 2 aft, with the 380mm guns. Now, again, this being a First World War ship, she's not super accurate, and her armor is decent, but if she's bottom tier, and she might encounter things like Japanese battleships with 400mm guns, she will get hurt. So, the armor is relatively good for a battleship of the time, and she needs that because this is a brawler, as is traditional with the German battleships, because you have a relatively low amount of guns, which are not super accurate at range either. But she's very good on the secondary department. So if we look at the secondaries, she has a manual set of 150mm secondaries. They have a relatively slow shell time. So if you lob them over, they take a little bit to get there. But they're still 150mm armor piercings. So they can do a decent amount of damage to destroyers and other lightly armored targets. Against battleships, they struggle to get through. So you're going to kind of have to aim. But because they are so slow, it's actually relatively difficult to hit things. Still, I traditionally go with secondary builds on the ship, but we'll get to that in a second. She gets auto secondaries as well, the 105mm, and they do actually, if you buff them a bit, have a relatively decent range of over 4 kilometers. Her AA isn't terrible for a German ship, and I mean, again, you're in tier 6, so if you're bottom tier, you might be suffering, but otherwise you can actually do a little bit of damage to aircraft. And all in all, she is definitely not a terrible ship. Now, I have actually chosen the torpedo defense system. The reason is I've ground this ship out a very long time ago. And today I probably would have gone with the battleship modernization instead, just because general purpose hit points are a bit more useful in my opinion. But I don't want to spend 350 gold to reset that. So that's what we're going with right now, but that's kind of what I would recommend. Also, my traditional battleship setup was more on torpedo damage reduction rather than torpedo dodging, because, well, I just wasn't very good at it yet at the time when I got this thing, which has kind of a little bit changed, hopefully. So we'll get to the modules in a second. She gets 2 consumables at tier 6. She gets 2 charges of sonar and 2 charges of the precise aiming mod. Now, the precise aiming mod is good to have, I guess. It doesn't do a huge amount of difference. The shots are still very, very much dependent on RNG. They can hit or they can completely miss. In terms of equipment, like I said, secondary spec. I've relatively recently again changed that. I used to have her on secondary reload, but the range is just a little bit too short to be effective. And I have her instead on the secondary mod 2 because just like the Warspite, the premium British tier 6, the secondaries are just all over the place. And getting a bit of precision in there was not, I felt was more of a better choice. In the second slot, I would usually have taken the deck protection against fires, but that's not available at tier 6, so went with the general damage control. And in the third slot, I used to have the torpedo defense mod. And again, I've traded that for the steering gear modification because this way we actually get the ship down to a... we're sacrificing 2% of torpedo damage reduction, but we get the ship down to just over 11 seconds turn time, which makes it just a little bit more agile. And with the sonars, you usually know when the torpedoes are coming, so that's quite a helpful thing. My commander is just actually a low-level commander that I just stuck on this one, because the actual commander has moved on, obviously, through the lines. But first 2 skills are really no-brainers. In the third slot, you could either go with the high alert, or I chose to go with artillery maintenance, because especially in the opening stages, when you're firing your first salvos, you get that extra little bit of dispersion. You might get a couple better hits. Then Victorious Charge would be an obvious choice. You could go with Fire Supremacy, but given that it's a brawler, I would really take the Survivalist instead. Recon and Surveillance is a good choice, although although the Generalist might not be a terrible choice as well, depending on how much you get on fire. Set on fire, tier 6, if you're not bottom tier, is not that terrible yet when it comes to the HE spammers. So, if you're bottom tier, good luck. Expert Marksman for the precise aiming might be a good choice as well. And yeah, you're usually not going to get much higher in a tier 6 captain unless you're really, really playing the ship a lot. And while she's fun to play for a tier 6, I think she's a very, very good tier 6 battleship. I don't personally play tier 6 all that often, so I'm usually not having a high skill commander on this one. Anyway, the Bayern. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, what happened to the real Bayern? Well, the Germans kind of gave up on the First World War because everybody was dead and everybody was having a revolution and nobody wanted to go to war anymore. So there was a bit of a mutiny and that was put down. And then, well, since they surrendered, she was shipped over to the British. And then there was a bit of a miscommunication and the commander in charge thought that she was supposed to be handed over to the British and he wasn't having any of that. So they decided to scuttle her, which is really always a shame when that happens, I feel. But then the British raised her again and scrapped her. But at least they gave some bits back to the Germans for commemoration in the end. Anyway, let's have a battle. All right, we are top tier, which is good news. There's a Pensacola, a Mutsuki, and 2 more Bayerns and 2 New Mexicos on the enemy team. So we're actually faster than the New Mexico. Okay, given. It's very difficult to be slower than in New Mexico, but for a World War I ship, this thing is actually relatively speedy with, I think, about 23 knots. I mean, the Nelson doesn't do much more than that either. Or the Warspite, for that matter. So, where do we spawn? Okay, we're cross-spawning. There's no carriers, so we're going to see 3 ships on our side. And let's see where that Nürnberg's going. I think he very much does not want to be here. Which kind of makes sense, because you don't know which side the destroyer is going to spawn on. Given that our destroyer spawned top, it's entirely possible that the enemy destroyer spawned down here, but there's a matter of chance. And yeah, yes, it's a Mutsuki. So, well, we'll head into the sea, and we're gonna well, see what happens. Okay, we're spotted and C gets capped. That's the Mutsuki. Am I switching over to the high explosive? Nah. Because we're going to have 4 ships to shoot at here, and hitting a Mutsuki with these main guns at range is going to be tricky at best. Also, for 380s, their penetration, again, given that they're World War I vintage, isn't that great. So the Mutsuki should have come in around that island there, which means by now he's probably in range of me and might have fired torpedoes. So I'm going to slow it a bit down and pop the Hydro, and there's a Pensacola for me to shoot at. So let's start with this guy. Put the precise aiming on. Just keep an eye out for torpedoes. And salvo out at the Pensacola. Pensacola shoots armor piercing at me. Yay, there we go. 380 millimeters, go. Not happy times for cruisers. Okay. I'm pretty sure the Mutsuki... There come the Mutsuki's torpedoes. A bit later than I thought they would. But slow down, turn in. That's only one spread. There's going to be a second one somewhere out there. There comes the second spread. I might take one of those because I'm slowed down quickly enough. Just about. Oh well, we can take that much. Okay, we only have one more ship. Oh, the other battleship has run away as well. So we've got a Pensacola, a Bayern, and a Mutsuki somewhere behind that island over there. So New Mexico. Okay. New Mexico engages the Bayern. So I'm going to try and help him. And there comes the Mutsuki. So he's going to have to switch over to high explosive if he knows what he's doing. And just tank the Bayern for a second. Which isn't great. So I can't quite support him yet because I'm out of range. Even with the 6.3 I think was with my secondaries. Okay, that was the secondary hit. I can finish off that Pensacola. I know he's... Oh, that was a good hit on the Mutsuki. Yeah, he must have used the mains probably on high explosive. Okay, he's going to take some torpedoes, but that's a Mutsuki. It's only a tier 5 destroyer. I'm definitely going to have to help him against that Bayern over there. There, he gets the Mutsuki. Okay, and I get a Citadel hit on the enemy Bayern. And we still got half his health. Now he's close quarters brawling with a Bayern, which is not a very healthy kind of thing. But the rest of our team seems to be relatively well established up there. We've only lost 1 destroyer so far. And I'm just going to finish off the Pensacola, just because it's an easy kill. That should be a dead Pensacola. That's an easy kill, and it means we have, well, 10 200mm guns less shooting at us. So I'm almost in range. Where's that battleship coming down on B? There's 3 of us here. Oh, two of us, but with him 3. That's overkill. He should go back up to support, but anyway. Okay, he's in super low health. I'm not going to kill steal that one. New Mexico, you take that one. I'm just going to fire my secondaries at him. Just whittle him down a little bit further so he's one-shot kill for you. Okay, come on. Yay. No. I took him, I think. Yeah, because the New Mexico was down, so didn't want to let him survive, but I generally try not to. If someone's been playing that well, New Mexico has been playing well. He's taken out the Mutsuki and brawled a Bayern. That was well done, and I would have left him the kill if he had managed to. To get it. Would have been a vengeance for him, but well, doesn't always work out. Anyway, that's it pretty much for this battle, because there's nothing happening anymore. There's only 2 battleships left on the enemy team. They have very soundly lost, and even with my 23 knot speed, I'm not going to make it up to the end anymore very quickly. So we'll just skip ahead, and yeah, we come up top of the team. But yes, definitely well played to that New Mexico on our side. So because that was so short, let's do another one. Okay, good players around here. In this one, we've got a Nagato on the enemy team. Dangerous ship. Lots of cruisers though. 2 battleships on our side, Warspite and myself. And we've got a division here as well with some good destroyer players by the looks of it. So, well, let's go. Southern Archipelago. I like this map. I really like this map because of the 2 flanks and the really interesting opportunities it brings. The biggest problem here is for your team not to lemming train. Because if you abandon 1 or 2 ships in one flank, it's it can be. They're not necessarily the best players. It's really, really difficult for them to hold that flank and to delay the enemy team. So one of the players kind of wants to go push C. Okay, well, you can do this. You can concentrate your fleet, but whoever's on the left side of the map is going to spawn there. It's going to be an awful lot of time to... What? Okay. I'm not sure what the Sims think he's doing. But it doesn't look like he wants to play the game. I don't know, maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe I've sunk him in a previous battle, I don't know. There's no friendly fire in Blitz. Okay, he doesn't. He's like, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm out of here. You're a top tier destroyer. You would have been rather useful, you know. Anyway, so we've got the Sirius having to cap instead, because the Fushun is just coming there as well. So the other battleship is kind of pointing left. There's a Gallant, he's too far away. There's a Galissonier, that's probably a better target. So let's see if we can get some shots out on that thing.
Precise
aiming on. Is he turning? Where is he turning? I think he's going to turn out. The Gallant is running away, which is good. Because overpen. One overpen. That's disappointing. Well, that's the problem with these German guns. At range, they are relatively difficult to actually hit things reliably with. So where are you going, Sunshine? Not that I can really hit you from that distance anyway, but well, we'll try. It's a bit of a hit and miss. Is he turning out? No, I think he's just going straight. Okay. Where's that Gallant? Nope, Gallant's still running away. No, that's better. That's 3 hits in on the Galissonier. There come the Galissonier's torps. Oh, there's the Nagato. And of course, the Nagato is like, oh, tier 6 battleship. I am top tier. I have big guns. Yes, you do. But so do I. And you're a Japanese battleship. And you're broadsiding. Let's see how that works out for you. Okay, semi-pens and a bounce. Can I get the Galissonier? No. Nagato again. No, it's like just keeping an eye on the Gallant. Okay, so that's what I was talking about earlier. We've got 2 destroyers over on the other side of the map, and they're obviously in a brawl rather than trying to slow down the team, so we're going to lose these 2 folks very quickly. If you're alone on one side or you're against overwhelming odds in a destroyer, just go stealth and try to, you know, what am I bouncing off a Galissonier here? That is unusual. This is a very lightly armored tier 6 cruiser. You should not be doing that. Very strange. We're really unlucky. Oh, and I'm getting the loving attention of the Nagato's 400 mils. Okay. Bow into the Nagato. Another hit on the Galissonier, but I'm going to have to leave that to the Warspite to finish off. Because I have Nagato problems. Okay, let's do this. I've lost a little bit of health. You see, that's what I mean. The 150... There we go. That's better. Yep, 380 millimeters. I can bite back. The 150 mils take an awful lot of time to get there, and if you hit them on the belt, you're not gonna have a very good time. I'm trying to hit her on the bow, but the shells are just too slow that I would have to lead them even more. So I'm not quite getting up, and they're going again all over the place, not where I've aimed them at all. There comes some torpedoes in support, but I get some secondary hits in. Come on, give me another primary hit. Okay, turn in a bit more. Citadel, full pens is good. At this range, even the 150 mils. Oh, 1700 health. Oh, that was close. Okay, I'm probably just gonna hold my fire here and see if I can actually get undetected. How's it looking? We're 2 ships down, they're 3 ships down, but we're losing one of our caps here. So that's not good. What is coming? What is coming? Warspite is fighting with the Gnevny. I've done my part, my friends. I've brawled a tier 7 battleship. Just some speculative shots out in case I can hit the Gnevny from here. Nope. But that Warspite's gonna eat a lot of torpedoes. And the Gnevny is still outside of range of my secondaries. Yeah, he's down. So well done, Warspite. And we need to get that cap back. Because we only have 1 destroyer left. There's an Auba. I might be able to hurt that thing pretty bad if I can hit her from here. See, that's the problem with the dispersion of the German battleships at range. They're all over the place. And I get semi-pens on the Auba. I'm a bit unlucky today. This is usually working a little bit better. But then again, you want to get close. There comes some more torpedoes. Warspite eats a bunch of them. They're easily avoided. The Auba has torps. I'm not sure if these were Auba torps. They don't look like, because they seem to be a single spread. No, not really. Might have been the Farragut's torps. That's better. Okay, that hurt. Are we on points? We're 500 points. Oh my gosh. We've lost the Warspite. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see if I can still take the Auber down with me. I've got, what, 7,000 health left if he can't torp me. I'll just see if he's got torps out. Come on, close range. Overpens. That's the problem with these extremely lightly armored cruisers. It's actually really difficult to hit the Citadel with them, because if you hit anywhere else, you're just over-penetrating. But the secondaries are doing a really good amount of damage against her. Come on, come on! Oh, one more shot. But I wouldn't have won us the game, but it would have been nice to take her down with me. Well done, that Gnevny. Gnevny is a fun ship. It's a very, very good destroyer. I like the Gnevny very much. So, how did we turn out in the end? Coming out top of the team, 55,000 damage. But yeah, our Leander got destroyed. That Sims didn't seem like he wanted to play at all. And didn't like the matchmaking, apparently. So, well, there's only so much you can do. But that's the Bayern. That is the German Tier 6 battleship. I still stand by my secondary spec, just because she does have the auto secondaries as well. And everything is not extremely precise at range, so you really actually want to get close in and get dirty and fire all the guns. And the secondaries work reasonably well, especially against cruisers and destroyers. Against battleships, they do struggle, also because of their relatively slow shell velocity, which means it's quite hard to hit them. But other than that, this was a really, really fun ship to grind through. And she's extremely similar to the Warspite in pretty much everything. In her layout, in her guns. So if you don't want to have a premium of the Warspite, then well, go for the Bayern. She's not a British ship, obviously, but if you can get over these kind of historical particularities, then she's very, very much a fun ship to play through. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope the Pan-Asian Destroyer main tech tree unlocks soon, so I can actually make a video about that. Other than that, I'll see you all next time. Bye.